I don't care what the system is. I want people that are in the seats that represent their constituents. And right now, there's not a lot of that going on.
So this was an interesting interview with Michael, and basically we talk about why he's there, and he talks about basically they do this every Saturday. This is the Valparaiso Resistance, and that they do this, every 11 a.m. To 1 p.m. on Saturday. So you can join that too by the Porter County Courthouse Town Square. Also, why, for him, he doesn't like Trump. So why is that? And the reasons he gives are interesting and important because, when you hear it from somebody who actually is living through these issues, then maybe you can understand why somebody would be against Trump. And that's important for somebody who is pro-Trump, and they might maybe understand that they should be against Trump too, because it could be affecting their lives too, but because of a series of, maybe one might say, cleverly placed propaganda, they think something different. They're in a media ecosystem that causes them to think differently. Okay, let's get into it.
My name's Daniel.
My name is Mike.
Mike, and why are we here today on the corner of the Porter County Courthouse?
We come to the corner every Saturday from 11 to 1. We have a sitting room in here. And all of these people have different feelings about what needs to be protected. We are very much in agreement that we should be following the Constitution.
Right.
And not just running our entire government through executive order that are unvetted by Congress, the House, most of the city members. And we hate to see what is happening with the migrant community. I'm an ex-construction guy. I'm a union member. I'm an ex-Marine. I have worked with all kinds of people, all races, whatever. I've treated them all equally my whole life. And the fact that this administration is turning this into a divide and conquer society is not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
It's not what we're interested in.
He's affected every stage of life that you've been in the Veterans Affairs, in the construction, the people that you've worked with.
My kids' student loans that I talked them into taking on so that they had some skin in the game when they went away to Purdue. They still have student loans. We're not sure what's going on with them. We can't just burn everything down and start from scratch.
Right.
That is not going to work.
No.
We have to work as a two-party system, maybe possibly a three-party system. I don't care what the system is. I want people that are in the seats that represent their constituents. And right now, there's not a lot of that going on. There is from the Democratic Party, but I have some criticisms of the way they've handled some of this. But the Republican Party is not doing anything. And I'm a former Republican.
I am too.
I am a former Republican, but I cannot stand, and I haven't voted Republican in years, but there has been times in my life where I have voted for a Republican candidate because I believe what he stood for or what she stood for.
Right.
So that's the gist of how this got started. There's a couple of conversations, and we're just going to continue to do it. It's awareness. People have got to communicate.
Yeah.
And we're doing a terrible job of it as a country.
Is this the best way to do it, do you think?
Well, it's the best way right now.
Okay.
I think the real way to do it is through the midterms.
Okay.
But there are many people, and I have a percentage of me that thinks this way at times, but not all the time, that believe that we won't ever get to the midterms if we don't start doing some of this awareness. And we'll see where it takes us.
When you say we won't ever get to the midterms, do you mean time will stop, or do you mean we won't have a chance to vote in Democratic
We won't
candidates?
have a chance to vote in
Okay.
a Democrat. I mean, the conversations are already
Like-
starting in Texas with gerrymandering. Started this week. They didn't get
Right.
what they wanted, so now they're throwing that out on
Right.
the table.
Trump was talking about, okay, go ahead and try and put in 2 new Republican districts into Texas. Yeah, in order to squeeze out a win.
And
So, I want to do an editor's note on this. Basically, Trump said actually that he wants to allow Texas to redistrict, in other words, gerrymander outside of the actual time in which it is accepted that one should be redistricting or gerrymandering. In this case, because it's not a bipartisan committee that happens in Texas. This is different from Indiana, according to them. And basically, Trump wants them to redistrict and allow them to add 5 new Republican representatives.
that's not the way
No.
our country is. That's not the way the Constitution reads. That's not the way our country is made to run. It's not a club. It just isn't a club. It's supposed
not-
to be a government.
Right, it's not a club, and there's rules for when you can actually redraw those districts.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what those are, but I remember them saying it's not really. I think it's when the census is actually taking place.
And the
That
sense,
makes more sense.
and I think the census was taken during Trump's first administration.
Right.
And they only take, how often do they take it? I don't know.
Thought it was 10 or 20 years.
It's 10 years.
But you can't just randomly do that.
Yes. I agree. So that's where we're at. That's what we are here to.
I want to hear about you being a former Republican and what sort of shifted your mindset to the left. Or did it? What exactly happened?
My children.
Okay, yeah.
Believe it or not, probably my children. My children are 2 of the kindest living people you'd ever want to meet. Both college educated kids. Wouldn't hurt a fly. But my upbringing, I'm about betterment.
Yeah.
Making money, establishing, a household, all that kind of stuff. And some of that has to get put on the back burner at times. That's where we're at. But my kids, I had my kids late in life. I was almost 40 when my son was born. I was almost 45 when my daughter was born.
Yeah.
So I had my kids
Yeah.
late in life. So I got a whole different perspective than people that have their kids in their 20s because
That's true.
I was really plugged in with my kids as they grew up. And you learn a lot of stuff from your kids about how
Yeah.
young people think compared to old
My
retired.
kid is all into fishing, so I've been learning a lot about fishing.
And that happens.
Yep.
Yeah. If I wanted to learn how to play computer games and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I just go to my kid's house
Right.
and hang out.
Well, thank you for the interview. It's been great.
Thank you
Nice to meet you.
for interviewing me, and hopefully this does some good.
This is one thing I find particularly interesting when somebody has been a Republican or has been a Democrat in the past, and they describe how their political situation, their political understanding has shifted over time. It's interesting, and it's clear in this case that it came from his kids and conversations that they maybe had with him, and it's something that I'd like to step into myself, to go into how my political understanding has changed over the years, from being a Republican to being someone who would describe myself as definitely more of a Democrat, definitely more of a liberal on issues. It's something that I'll get into, but for now, let's continue this video. Okay, so this is a great clip. She talks about my interview style and what she thinks about it, but also I talk about why it's important to talk to people who are just regular people who live in this country and to potentially change their mind, and why it's possible with regular people. Okay, let's jump in.
Were interviewing last week,
Mhm.
which you were interviewing the young woman who's across the street from us today with the big Trump flag.
Right.
And I just thought the way that you interviewed her was very respectful, but at the same time challenging.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that as well as you do. And I understood from what you were, someone asked you, you know, why were you doing the interview, or who do you represent or something, and I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
So I heard you asking Walt about, did he have association with a newspaper?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
I am just representing myself. I write my own articles for my website, and I record videos and cover political content.
mhm.
So I'm my own business as far as reporting and things like that.
Okay.
And
So could you tell me how I could access the interviews you do?
yeah, so I am just starting up. So the only interview I have is from that last week.
Oh, really?
But
you must have done this before.
I've done similar things. I have done this group for about 6 years or 7 years called the Northwest Indiana Deep Thinkers.
Uh-huh.
And we have people come from both sides of the aisle, and we just talk about things.
So
And
is that something I can access? Northwest Indiana Deep Thinkers?
that's on Meetup. And right now I basically have the location for the event as here.
Oh.
So people can engage with these ideas and just maybe have some respectful conversations with people, and maybe, just maybe, some of this information that we have,
Mhm.
they can grow to understand and maybe even change their minds. That's, I think, important to have conversations.
Yeah.
That's where some progress is made with people who don't have any skin in the game, just regular citizens.
Mhm.
People who have skin in the games, like Republican, politicians, they have moneyed interests who are enforcing their beliefs. It's beyond what they believe.
Right.
It's
May
what
not
will
even
keep
be
them
what-
in office.
May not even be what they really believe.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I
So,
hear you on that.
but real conversations with citizens, I think, is key. That's what actually can change demographics of voting, what can, change a lot of things, I think, in this country.
Mhm.
I think. Yeah.
So, are you familiar with WVLP, the local radio station?
Yeah, I have definitely heard of it. Yep.
Okay.
And I've actually reached out, Mark Maloney, right?
Mark Maloney does a show.
He does a show. I've reached out to him to maybe go on his show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to be on a show. And
Well, I'm going to give you some information. You could even have your own show.
I just want to say this is awesome that I'm getting this opportunity to be a contributor to WVLP, a local radio station, and it'll allow my work to actually grow and reach a wider audience within Valparaiso, and that's awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. That was the 2 interviews I was able to get before, we got rained out, and that last one, of course, was in a car because it was currently pouring down rain. But yeah, be sure to subscribe, and that would really help my channel grow and help me reach a wider audience. I like covering Indiana politics and even, of course, local politics in Valparaiso, and just sort of get a feel out there of what people are thinking. And so, if you like the sound of that, then go ahead, click that subscribe button, be sure to like this video.